Hello everybody, welcome back to the first and best dedicated channel about Kitsumon. My name is Mike and today we are going to take a look at Pharaoha. It seems Pharaoha is one of the community favorites and it's also very often used in trailers and kind of feels like the mascot of Kitsumon, even though Kitsune also is shown very often. But Pharaoha was the first Kitsu we have seen in action because it was the first Kitsu that was shown to us by the team with a little animation, which you can see here. So it will always have a special place in our heart. Now let's jump right into the abilities and the elements of the first of 3 rare Kitsus with 500 pieces in existence. We have 2 new elements we have not seen before. First one is Earth and the second one is Dark. Earth is strong against fire, lightning and air, but has weakness against steel. Dark, on the other hand, which is... Where is Dark? Oh, they renamed Shadow to Dark. Apparently Shadow is now Dark, so Dark is strong against mana, psychic and void, but is not good against light. If we switch them around, Earth has again 4 elements who have increased damage against it, which are water, nature, ice and steel. And Shadow or Dark has weakness against 3 elements, which are fire, lightning, and light. So with that being said, let's jump into the abilities, and the first one is called Sandstorm. Pharaoha summons a sandstorm in the target area, slowing the movement speed and restricting the vision of all enemies inside of it. Very nice ability to have, slowing enemies always good, and restricting their vision even better. I think vision is one of the key elements of any MOBA and developers do not pay much attention to it. And that's why I really like the fact that Pharaoha has an ability that utilizes the vision aspect of a game. Next up we have Shadow Glyph. Marks the target enemy with a Shadow Glyph, dealing a small amount of damage and leaving them marked for a few seconds. Okay, what I see here is a new mechanic, marks. What are those marks? What are they going to do? Let's find out. Next up we have Entomb. Summons a sarcophagus to fall down from the sky onto a targeted location, dealing high damage to any enemies hit. If a marked enemy is hit by this ability, it deals even more damage. Okay, so we know what a mark does. If Entomb reduces the target's health to 0, the cooldown is fully refunded. Okay, this sounds like a crazy overpowered ability. If this deals high damage and reduces its cooldown to 0 if you kill someone, this could potentially wipe out an entire team during a team fight. The key question here is how many abilities will Pharaoha have that can mark enemies? So if you have the ability to mark several people and kill them one by one, this sounds a bit overpowered. So let's continue. Pharaohs Curse. Pharaoh sends out a miasma in a small frontal cone, which deals medium damage, slowing and marking enemies it hits. Okay, so as I just said, this is probably going to be very overpowered. If you can mark several enemies at once and kill one with Entomb and it gets automatically reset, and you kill the next one and it gets reset, and you kill the next one and it gets reset. I don't know, sounds very strong. In theory, this sounds very overpowered, but as long as we don't have the final numbers, it's hard to make a judgment. So let's get on with the next ability called Mirage. Temporarily summons a mirage around itself, which activates when hit by any abilities. Upon activation, Pharaoha temporarily becomes invisible and summons a Mirage clone in its position. This ability has a very high cooldown. Okay, so you summon a Mirage, and if that gets hit, you become invisible and summon a Mirage clone in your position. I don't get it. Okay, this sounds overly complicated for a simple spell negation ability in my opinion, because what's the benefit of having this Mirage clone? Can it deal damage, or what is its use? Because people will know that you are invisible and this is a fake, so it serves literally no purpose. Why not just say activate Mirage, and if you get hit by an ability, you do not take damage and turn invisible? Where's the need for this clone? I don't get it. But let's continue. Next ability is called Underworld. Pharaoha temporarily summons the shadows of the Underworld to the surface, creating a vast area of darkness that slows the movement speed of any enemies inside of it and increases the damage they take by a small percentage. If Underworld is cast shortly after Entomb has executed the target, the area of effect is vastly increased. So this is interesting because this is the first time we actually see that an ability directly benefits from another ability. If you remember, Johnny Silverpaw has an ability that stuns the enemy if they are slowed, but it does not say that it has to be a slow from Johnny Silverpaw. So basically, if another Kitsu slows the enemy and you use your ability, it gets stunned. But here, it explicitly says that the area of effect will be increased if Entomb has executed the target. This is very interesting. So it seems Underworld and Entomb is going to be a no-brainer combination of abilities. And it sounds very powerful. Next ability is called Sands of Time. Removes any active slows on itself or the target ally and gains increased movement speed for a short duration. Okay, so basically you can remove a debuff from yourself or an ally and at the same time buff yourself or an ally. Also a very nice ability, which is not directly benefiting from other abilities of Pharaoha. So this one is going to be probably an optional pick if you're facing an enemy team that has a lot of slows. Final ability, the Judge. Pharaoha transforms into the Judge, gaining powerful new abilities that let it control its opponents and give them their final judgment. Sounds brutal. I like it. Again, this is a transformation ability and this will be covered in a separate video. So subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to not miss it. Let's head over to the passives. We have two passives, the first one being Hot Feet. When this Kitsu gets going, things quickly become heated. Hi, apparently my camera ran out of battery and I had no idea. I just noticed it when looking through the footage, and sadly my cam does not give me any prior notice before the battery runs out or before the memory card is full, which also happened before. So let's move on to the passive abilities of Pharaoha. And the first one is a racing passive, which is called Hot Feet. When this Kitsu gets going, things quickly become heated. Sufficient speed when racing will automatically activate Hot Feet's effect and further accelerate the Kitsu. Okay, this sounds like a very nice passive to have, because who doesn't like even more speed when racing? I mean, after all, speed is probably going to be the most important factor when it comes to racing. So getting even more speed sounds like a very nice skill to have. The second passive is called Full of Life, and this is the same passive that also Neutronic brings to the table. This Kitsu is brimming with life force and regenerates health much faster. I don't know if this is the best choice for Pharaoha specifically, because the way I see it, Pharaoha is a pure damage dealer and wants to finish fights quickly and is not the type of Kitsu you want to bring to a prolonged fight. So the regeneration can be quite nice in the early stages of the game, or the laning phase. But when it comes down to team fights, this passive doesn't do much, because at later stages of the game you will die so quickly, it won't even matter if you regenerate 10 health per second or 50. So, and on top of that, Pharaoha is not a Kitsu that uses its own health for spells or anything like that, so it needs the extra regeneration. It is still nice to have. It will help you tremendously surviving the laning stages, especially if you happen to get low stats in health, for example. But I think Pharaoha would be better off with a different passive, to be honest. So as you can see here, originally Pharaoha only had 2 passives, but then something changed. I talked to the manager and told him that I was very upset that my Neutronic does not have a passive like Johnny Silverpaw and Kitsune. And the manager said, yeah, we understand, and we understand that it would be more valuable if every Kitsu would have 3 passives, 1 for MOBA, 1 for professions and 1 for racing. So the team actually decided to update their Kitsus, and now every Kitsu will have 3 passives, 1 for MOBA, 1 for racing and 1 for professions. So me and my Neutronic are very happy, and I hope you guys are too. Nah, I'm just kidding. I mean, not about the fact that Kitsus will have 3 passives, but I did not talk to any manager or anything. In fact, a few hours after I posted my video, James, the CEO of Kitsumon, told us in the Discord channel that they were working on updating the passives of every Kitsu, so everyone would have 3. And yeah, I'm very happy about it. So Pharaoha, as well as every other Kitsu, will get an additional 3rd passive, and it has not been shared in the official channels of Discord, but I asked Tobias if he would be so kind to share it with me for my video, and he did. So here it is for you guys, exclusively on this video. The passive is called Royal Presence. The ancient Egyptian presence of Pharaoha passively improves the health of all your animals, reduces the chance of animals getting sick. So not only is it very cool that Tobias provided me with this information, thank you for that, but the other cool thing is that we now have the information that we will have animals in Kitsumon. And this is probably going in conjunction with the farming profession, because not only will you be able to farm crops, but also livestock. And with Pharaoha's passive, you increase your chances of having a lively and healthy livestock, which produces resources that you need for cooking, for example, like meat. So very nice, very cool information we got here. I'm very hyped and very excited to see how this all plays out in the long run. So yeah, all in all, I think Pharaoha looks like an amazing Kitsu. The concept is amazing, the artwork is amazing. Apparently it is able to dish out tremendous amounts of damage, and confession, those are the characters I enjoy the most. You know, those assassins who go in, kill someone, go out before they even know what happened, and just make your opponent want to uninstall the game. But there's also a downside to Pharaoha, specifically when it comes to breeding, because as we just saw, there's a spell that heavily relies on another spell of the kit. So if you breed Pharaoha with someone else and the offspring does not get both of them, the second spell looks kind of weak. But we will see how this plays out eventually when the game goes live. I think the team already considered this kind of things and made some kind of adjustments to make up for it if the hybrid only has one of those 2 mentioned spells, for example. So yeah, I think Pharaoha is very nice. You should definitely get one if you don't have one already. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to not miss the next Kitsu Spotlight, which will be about Nuclismo. And as always, have a great day, and I see you in the Kitsumon Metaverse.